and Rob is kind enough to join us. So let's lead things off here with the aforementioned Rob Font. Hey, Rob, how are you?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Great to have you on the show for the first time as well. I know you're in Las Vegas out there,
Of course, man.
getting ready for this massive fight for you. I just wanted to ask you because I don't know if you even paid attention to this. There's a lot of 135ers fighting in MMA and boxing these days, as I just laid it all out. Do you watch, like, even in the boxing world, like, will you watch those guys? Do you watch those guys maybe with a keener eye because they're your same, weight, and the fighting styles can sometimes be the same?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest, fan of boxing like that, but I do watch here and there. I try to pick up as much as possible, but I'm not like I barely watched the fight the
Okay.
last one that just happened with the Fame. I'll watch the highlights and all that, and I'll go back and I'll study them. I didn't really get down and sit down and watch it yet, but I definitely respect what they do, and I pick up as many tricks as possible from the boxers. But yeah.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Better bantamweight fight this weekend. Sergio Pettis, Kyoji Horiguchi, Rob Font, Jose Aldo. Which is the better fight?
Oh man, shout out to Sergio, that's my man. But you got to tune into the fight. Aldo fight for sure, man.
Okay. I had a feeling you were going to say that. You were on a roll. It looks like you're very close to being in that title picture, and you're coming off that huge win over Cody Garbrandt. But could I ask you, Rob, could you even appreciate the Cody Garbrandt fight? Did you even get to celebrate the Cody Garbrandt fight? Because as those might recall, it feels so long ago now, shortly thereafter, you get the USADA notification that you're flagged. Then you're completely cleared of any wrongdoing. It was more a WADA issue. We could get into the weeds of all of it, but it happened so soon right after. I'm wondering if you were even able to bask in the glow of the victory.
Yeah, obviously I knew I didn't, I wasn't taking anything, and I wasn't really too worried about it. But it was obviously, you get that, you saw the call and saying, you got flagged or something. It was a little bit of it was frightening, and I was worried for a little bit. But I knew deep down I didn't take anything, so I was good. But as far as enjoying the win, I enjoyed it a little bit because these fights, these 35ers, they're all big fights. So I already know if beating Cody Garbrandt was going to bring another monster on, which exactly what happened. That's how we got the Aldo fight.
Mm-hmm. I think because you're outside, the Wi-Fi isn't great. Is it possible to go inside, or is that a problem?
I got you. Let me go inside real quick.
Okay, thanks. It's just because it's getting all choppy and want to hear everything that you're saying. Big fight, Rob Font, Jose Aldo, main event this Saturday night, ESPN Plus.
Is that a little better?
I think it's getting better. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's better already. Thanks, man. Sorry. It was a great background, and I'm jealous of the sun.
Yeah, I was just trying to enjoy that sun, but it's all good.
I appreciate it. Do you feel like it's one of those weird things where, USADA gets involved and there's the initial news that you're flagged and then you're clear, but sometimes people don't pay attention to the clearing and just pay attention to the initial infraction? Do you feel like that thing has stuck with you, or do you feel like people have forgotten about it and, aren't looking at you in a funny way?
Yeah, not at all. I think everything, worked out perfectly. I feel like everybody almost felt bad for me. There was a lot of people reaching out, like, bro, I'm sorry. Everybody's telling me to sue everybody. It was kind of like, I felt like it worked out perfect. I knew I didn't do anything wrong. My team got behind it. Jeff and Donna, they with me the whole time. And, it was simple. It was an easy process. We just had to prove our case. Once we did that, we had to just go through the hearing, and it was a done deal. And, but yeah, I feel like I haven't got any hate or backlash at all from like fans or people, and honestly, I think people, you just kind of forgot about it too.
Are you considering suing, or did you consider suing?
No, not really. I just was kind of like, all right, cool. Like there was a little mix up, whatever. They changed the ruling. They changed how they even take the test, and I was on to the next one.
It was something about like your hair, your shampoo or something, right?
It was the lotion. It was the shampoo. It was basically all the cosmetic products.
That's crazy.
That was taken, yeah. But I was taking had in the hemp lotion that I was taking had chemical in it, and that was it. We popped. But I guess, they just switched on how they tested it. So once I found that out, I was cool with it. I was like, perfect. So yeah, this is past me. I'm moving on to the next one.
Okay. And just last thing on this, I heard your team, they submitted like a 35-page document or something like that. How stressful was the whole process of having to go through everything and then waiting for them to clear you? Like just that whole thing.
Yeah, man, it was annoying. It was a solid, probably I would say like 3 weeks of just putting together like receipts, exactly what I ate fight week, the weeks leading up to fight week, going around calling stores, getting exact products, reading the labels. It was tough. We just had to basically prove our case, and that's the first thing done in you know and Jeff, when they first called and notified us, they're like, listen, we believe you. We know, because we work very closely with them. Like, you have no wrongdoing here, and just this is what we have to do. And then once we found out what we had to do, we all as a team put our head down and just figured out the problem. And yeah, shout out to everybody that helped out, because it was tough at first, but once we kind of put the work in, we figured out what chemical it was, and yeah, that was it.
So you were then cleared of any wrongdoing there. Nevada does the same. And then we think that we're going to get this bantamweight title fight between Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan. And Aljo pulls out because of the neck. And then people start thinking about TJ. But then we come to realize, he's recovering from surgery. So then they start thinking about you. And my understanding was there was an initial conversation, but you couldn't take the fight, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, as we're going through this whole USADA deal, I decided to go to Texas and just kind of hang out, relax, and because I believe I traveled to Texas, and we set up the final hearing in Texas. Me, Calvin, his sister lives out there, so we all went out there as a team. Manager and Coach Tyson was there, and we kind of set up one of the days for the hearing. And then once we got cleared, it was like perfect. We hung out for a couple more days, and the plan was get back home and obviously get back to training and everything. And came back with COVID,
Oh.
and so I had to be sidelined for two and a half weeks. So 2.5 weeks of sitting around doing nothing. Then we get the call. It was just bad timing. We we did like a mock kind of workout and try to really feel it out. Just wasn't really feeling. It'd have been a sloppy fight, man. Honestly, it'd have been like I just wasn't feeling it, and then so I had to turn it down. And then, but we got fortunate enough. We got blessed with this fight. So. But yeah, I was hurting for a couple of days, but we got over it, and yeah, man, it was unfortunate. It was a big opportunity that kind of slipped through.
How tough was it to say no to that? Your first title shot?
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough, man. It was I was trying to figure out everything I possibly could to try to make it happen. Then as I was sitting there, I was just like, wait, I'm just trying to figure out how I can get to the fight. I'm not really focused on winning the fight. Like,
yeah,
that's one step already. Like, we're already behind, And I was just like, you literally are just trying to like pull things out your ass to try to figure out how to even make it to the fight, and that can't be good against a killer like obviously Jan. So it was like, just sit back, relax. Something will come, and we got the Aldo fight.
Do you feel like it was I mean, no one wants to get COVID, no one wants to get sick, no one wants to turn down a fight. But in a way, a bit of a blessing, because you take that fight, you're not feeling good, you lose the fight, you go back to the, back of the line. Probably for the best that you didn't take it, right?
I think so. I think especially the way this whole division is kind of all messed up anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously that would have guaranteed me a title shot next to winning that belt, but still waiting around for Aljo. You still be waiting around for him. Then you still be waiting around for TJ. Corey's still kind of coming off a loss, so it was kind of like, all right, well, let's sit back, see what else shakes up. Even winning a big win over Aldo, I'm still kind of like in a weird spot. Because there's no clear direction until obviously Aljamain gets healthy.
How do you feel about the whole Aljo situation? Did you feel like they should have stripped him before that fight and made Jan versus Sandhagen an official title fight?
I don't think so. I think give him a couple more months or whatever, a couple more weeks to kind of like figure out. Like, do you know how long he's technically out for? Or?
It seems like maybe till March or so is the best case scenario. So it will be a year since the first fight.
Oh, damn. Yeah, it's kind of yeah, it is kind of a while. I mean, I mean, eventually, I don't know. I don't know. You know, it sucks. If I was in that position, I would, you know, I would be like, man, slow down, give me
Yeah.
a second, you know, because it's tough, you know. So I do feel for him, but man, it's been a while, you know, and obviously, but he's dealing with some serious injuries, so I get it, you know. Yeah, you know, like obviously the Corey fight was fun. He still, you know, Peter Yan still has the belt. Let him sit back, you know, wait for Aljamain. Like I'm pretty sure you say it's March.
That would be the best, case scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know, say like I don't. Yeah, I think you know, let him keep the belt, let them fight it out, and then we'll clear all this mess up.
I kind of feel like, correct me if you feel otherwise, I feel like you and Aldo are fighting to fight TJ in the number one contender spot. Like, we're going to have Jan versus Sterling, hopefully for the belt unification bout. TJ coming off that surgery, but coming off a big win. The winner of this fight on Saturday fights TJ for the number one contender spot. Does that make sense to you?
That'd be cool, man. I hope that's the plan. You know, you know, perfect world. That's exactly how it plays out. Best case scenario, they do strip Aljamain and they make me and Peter
Oh, okay.
fight for the belt. You know, so that'd be perfect world. Second case scenario would be obviously me fighting TJ, and I think obviously beating a guy like Aldo and beating a guy like TJ, you can't deny me the belt. So that'd be another the lock in. But you know, that's a rougher route. That's two legends back to back. You know, so that's the rougher route. But you know, there's options. Obviously, my job is to get there and get through. You know, Aldo first. But there's some options there.
I saw a video that the UFC posted recently of you talking about your first knockout in the UFC against George Roop, and you were talking about like, man, I'm fighting George Roop. I watched this guy in WEC, big stage, Vegas, all that stuff. I mean, when you think of WEC, one of the guys that you think of is Jose Aldo. Is it? I mean, a little surreal for you that you're fighting this legend. How do you digest it? If you were feeling that way about George Roop all those years ago, how do you feel about fighting Jose Aldo now?
Same thing, you know, same thing. Get the same feeling, same pressures. Nothing's changed, you know. Like you know, it's just finally get to do it on Aldo. You know, same thing again. Like I didn't even start watching MMA through the UFC. It was WC most. I started
Wow.
watching the WC and then got into the UFC. You know, I those guys like the Faber, Cruz, Mike Brown, Carlos Con, you know, Ryan Yaya, all those guys. Those are the guys I kind of first got introduced into MMA was. So then of course, you know, we all looked up to Aldo and Pettis and Donald Cerrone and all those guys. But Roop is one of those in that same kind of category. So I've been here before. I've dealt with this. I know what it feels like. You know, I know what it feels like to go in there and fight a guy like that. Now, obviously, it's not the same caliber as Aldo, but it's similar. So it seems familiar. It feels familiar, and I'm hyped for the challenge. And you know, like I feel like this is going to make me just force me to get a lot more creative in there and make him work a lot harder.
How do you feel about him in 2021? This version of Aldo. Do you feel like he's losing a step? Like, obviously you're going to prepare for the best version of Jose Aldo, right? But when you look at him
Yeah, you
now,
know, no, I think he's a little more. Seemed like the Cheeto fight was a little more conservative. Frankie, he let it go a little bit more. I'm sorry, the Munoz fight, he let it go a little bit more. But he looks sharp. He looks dangerous. He's putting together combinations. Yeah, I mean, again, tough fight. It's Aldo. This is a tough fight. I'm not looking past him at all. I'm putting everything into this camp, and this is going to be another tough 5 round fight.
the biggest difference for you in this 4-fight winning streak against massive names, right? Before Cody and Marlon Moraes. So what's changed for you? What has allowed you to gain this confidence, go on this role? A lot has been said of the New England cartel and how you guys are so tight, and your head coach Tyson Chartier, who's become one of the best head coach in the sport. Calvin Cater, of course, one of the best guys in his weight class, 145. But for you, like, why does it feel like it's all coming together now?
You know, boring answer is like, you know, I kind of like wasn't. I guess I stopped trying to make everything perfect and wasn't afraid to look bad or make mistakes or or not dwell on the mistakes when I did make them in the fight. It was just like really living in the moment and trying to kind of just take it play by play. And I think I really put that together in these last couple of fights, even when I was doing good or I was doing bad. It was just having fun out there. And I don't think I was doing that before. And, it was working out. I'm going out there and doing what I want to do, not worrying about what these guys are doing and just having fun and making mistakes as I get to the W's. Before I was trying to make everything perfect.
Putting too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, I guess you could say putting too much pressure, trying to make paint a perfect picture instead of just going out there, whatever happens, and having fun as we do it. And I think me doing that, I've gotten a lot more creative. I'm enjoying the fight itself a lot more, and it's not. I guess it's not work. It's more of like, again, it's back to just enjoying and remembering why I even started fighting in the first place, instead of just, all right, let's go out there, we got to do this, and that, and check this off, check that off. And instead of just, going out there, have fun, training, kind of taking that approach when it comes to training. But once we get in there, just go out there and have fun and play ball.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You started fighting just because you wanted to lose weight, right? Like you didn't want to, you started training just because you wanted to lose weight. You didn't have aspirations to be a fighter.
Yeah, it was kind of like I was delivering pizzas, and I delivered to a house that was they were doing jiu-jitsu in the garage, and I kind of like, they broke it down. It was very interesting. I knew it wasn't wrestling, but I also knew it wasn't like boxing. I was like, what's going on? They're like, oh, it's jiu-jitsu. They broke it down. I checked out a gym in the area, and first, kind of like, again, I was delivering pizzas. I was kind of heavy at the time. I was kind of like, all right, well, let's check it out. I would always I would always kind of like shadow box and kind of like do a lot of like me and my friends would always kind of slap box and play around with the boxing gloves, but nothing serious. So I always kind of have like some type of coordination and some type of movement. But then once I got in there, it was over. I started taking the kickboxing classes and the jiu-jitsu class, and I just got addicted. Within like probably 6 months, I was taking a kickboxing smoker.
Wow.
I lost that, but it was kind of like I just went out there and just did it. I took 6 months of training and went out there and did it. We lost that. At the time, this was in Tampa, Florida, and then I moved to Boston, Mass, around 2009, and started training at Sit Your Thong. And from there, it was the same thing. Just kept training, and then took my first amateur fight. Lost that one. Figured out what we had to do to fix the holes, and then just went on a tear. Before you know it, we kind of took over the local New England scene, and then we made our debut versus Roop in 2014.
If you're not delivering pizza to that house where the guys are doing jiu-jitsu in the garage, and you don't get exposed to that, and it never comes your way, what do you think you're doing now in your life?
I don't know, man. Fuck. Hopefully not fat. Like hopefully, I don't know, man. Like it'd been.
How big were you?
It was rough at that moment too. I wasn't too big. It was like I was like chubby, Okay. I was like probably like 185, just chubby. Like
yeah.
It wasn't like fat, but it was like or huge like that. But I was just a chubby guy, kind of like wanting to just kind of slim up and get in shape, and then it just took over, man. It's just like all I could do was watch fights, watch old martial art movies, watch jiu-jitsu tournaments, boxing fights. I would watch all the old UFC fights, and I would just kind of just jumped into it, and just got overwhelmed with it, and just never stopped and never looked back. And before you know it, we're fighting Jose Aldo in the main event.
It's crazy. What a story, man. That's unbelievable.
I'm sitting there like, all right, let's do this, and like. Again, like obviously I owe a lot to it, a lot of the guidance to Tyson, because like I said, I just got in and I just started trying things. There was no rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I was like, let me try this, let me try that, let me just do that, and then just figuring it out on the job, and it was working for a few, and then obviously once I got the guidance, it just took off, and I got the structure, and I understand, got to really understand what teamwork was, and kind of, really got behind the mental side of the game, the nutrition side, the conditioning side, and then just putting together, obviously, techniques from blending obviously to MMA to jiu-jitsu to wrestling, striking. He's trying to blend it in. And, I mean, I'm still kind of on the job learning and figuring it out. And, I got a solid team behind me, and we're in a good spot. I'm just happy I delivered that damn pizza.
Yeah, I bet. By the way, the not putting pressure on yourself part, who opened your eyes to that? Was it Tyson? Was it someone else? Like to just kind of let it go and have fun?
Yeah, I think it was after that Sansa fight. I was just in Vegas, and it was just my buddy Miguel was just like, "Listen, man, like you just look like you look like you weren't having fun out there. Like you just kind of look like you're just going in there and just trying to like do what you guys wrote on paper instead of going out there and actually creating openings and creating knockouts and creating takedowns or whatever. You're just trying to like force things, or if it doesn't work out, like you're trying to stick to a plan. It was just like it looked like you're not having fun, and it was like it kind of hit me like, damn, you're kind of right. And then from there, it was just I don't know. It's like I guess an attitude change or a mental shift, but I just figured it out and went out there and just approached training a little differently with that same kind of mindset of just having fun and not making sure I'm not forcing things and trying to make everything perfect, and just whatever happens, and then just being cool with that outcome.
Well, it is clearly working, my friend. You are on a roll. You're beating some massive names. You're fighting a massive name on Saturday. Last thing for you, how do you envision the fight ending on Saturday night?
So I'm thinking, it's going to be a fun, rough first, I would say 2 minutes with this guy. It's going to be, it's going to be explosive. It's going to be quick. It's going to be up and down. I think I need to slow him down the first 2-3 minutes, and then, pick him apart and look for the finish in that third and fourth round. But again, that's easier said than done. Definitely want to push the pace. I want to, get in his face, let him know that, hey, I'm here. I'm going to be here, and it's going to be a long night. And hopefully, obviously making mistakes and capitalize on all of them.
Excited for it. Congrats on all your success as of late. It's been a lot of fun to see you turn into one of the top contenders at 135 pounds. I think you deserve a massive fight after this one. This is a massive fight, so I know you're not looking past Jose Aldo. Wish you all the best on Saturday, and thanks for coming on, Rob. I really appreciate it.
My man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. There he is, Rob Font, joining us, one half of the headlining act on Saturday. Fun little UFC card, another Apex card.